Hey, hello, everyone, and welcome back. You might have found this video after opting in for the mini course. Hopefully, you've already watched the intro to the mini course. I know that that's about an hour long, but it is worth it because the beginning part that I've also put in that intro video, I'm just going to kind of breeze through it. So this is the mini course for passing the SLP Praxis exam. No matter where you are on your Praxis certification journey or your Praxis preparation journey, this will definitely be beneficial for you. I am Melanie Evans. I am a certified speech language pathologist and certified mindset coach. And I am just so passionate about helping aspiring clinicians or aspiring certified SLPs not only get over the hurdle of passing the SLP Praxis exam, but also releasing limiting beliefs that are keeping them from living their best lives, pretty much, that are keeping them from living their most authentic selves and their dream lives as speech pathologists. I can definitely say I am currently living my dream life as a speech pathologist. And of course, the dreams just keep expanding. But the fact that I'm able to record this at home, I am just so thankful that I've set the systems in place and I've attracted the support system to make all of these things happen. And I want this to happen for you. So, just a little bit about my background. I did already present this in the intro video. So if you haven't already, go ahead and go back and look at the intro video. You should have looked at it to opt into this, but if not, no worries. I'll just breeze through a little bit of my background, a little bit about me. When I was studying for the SLP Praxis exam in graduate school in 2018, 2019 era, I procrastinated. Okay. I never considered myself a certification exam taker or a standardized test taker. I always really just assumed that I would fail. Took me a few times to, I mean, honestly, I don't even think I got the score I really wanted on the ACT, but thank God that my institution accepted me anyway. And then same thing with my master's. I took the GRE and I got accepted into my undergrad institution, but no other institution. It turned out to be the best thing for me anyway. But still, you might be able to see where some of my limiting beliefs might have came from, right? So I procrastinated, I socialized, but didn't have one dysarthria memorized. Okay. I valued schoolwork, but this exam terrified me. At the same time, I was a manifester, okay? I monthly created intentions around building a successful career in speech language pathology. Specifically, I manifest an abundant and expansive career in speech pathology, serving Black and Latinx populations, and I attract mutually beneficial business relationships with ease. Those are just two of the long lists that I made sure to go back and rewrite every single month. Still graduated, but not without struggle. I was going through a lot of internal and external changes. People were falling out of my life, and it was amazing, really, in hindsight. But of course, that's a lot that was really challenging for me. I did not pass the SLP Praxis the first time. I honestly rushed into it. I took the wing it approach and kind of like the whatever happens, happens, even though I knew deep down it was very important to me in my career. And I also had pressure to pass because the reason why I took that exam at the time I did without really just giving myself the time I needed to study for it was so that way I wouldn't have to take the comprehensive exams. That was kind of the benefit of passing the exam early. So failed forward, got a 159, took some time to sulk a little bit, but then I decided to just set a plan that helped me. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that plan is. Please take some time to read this because just really knowing the story could be inspiring for somebody. Here are my real test results. I'm going to do a little zoom in moment for you all. I got a 159 at first. But then after implementing the strategies that I'll be telling you all here in this video call, I got a 172. So you see how I literally quantum jumped. Okay. I took a big leap and ended up getting the passing score that I needed. Just a little bit about my training. So I am an ASHA certified speech language pathologist. I'm Spanish bilingual, which is also just part of those intentions that I set. I specialize in childhood communication disorders. I'm currently a private practice owner, currently conducting assessments for a local school district. And I also conduct one-on-one sessions for a contract company virtually based in Texas. And I just feel fulfilled through public speaking. I just recently got to speak at ASHA, and you'll definitely be seeing me at a lot more conventions. I'm also an influencer. So you might know me through my brand, Pediatric Speech Sister. And I just thank God for everything that came with starting a professional business page. I had no intention on it becoming what it is to this day and where it's going. But I've been following those intuitive steps to get there, remembering my intentions from years ago. Certified mindset and life coach. So I am trained in neuroenergetic encoding, which basically means that I help clients release and discover root causes of limiting decisions and beliefs conditioned from your childhood, your ancestral lineage, and past lives through a meditative state. It also provides visualization techniques to help you achieve your envisioned success. Hypnosis, one of my favorites, fosters focus, relaxation, and subconscious access, empowering clients to overcome challenges and achieve personal goals. Neuroenergetic wiring refers to the brain's patterns shaped by experiences. These brain patterns can negatively impact a person's habits, time management, daily routines, and thought processes. I guide clients to reshape these patterns for positive change through powerful storytelling techniques and the swish technique, which is also one of my favorites. EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique tappings, that you might have already seen that on my Praxis Speech Sister Instagram page. I do tapping Tuesdays. But what I'm trying to say here is that EFT has really been helpful in releasing all of the stress that could come with preparing for the SLP Praxis exam and all of the stress that could come with believing in yourself that you are capable of this career. Because yes, you've been going through the process of graduate school, but graduating, it's almost like you are out in the real world, and a lot of resistance can come with that too, without even realizing it. So we release limiting beliefs, and then we reprogram positive beliefs that will help you get to where you want to go and desire to go for a lifetime. These are strategies, the strategies that I teach in this program, you can rinse and repeat for any goal that you're setting out for yourself. Just a little bit here. I did get to write an article with my mentor, Dr. Valencia Perry. So my clinical fellowship here, I got 2 articles published in the ASHA Leader, our professional publication. So if you'd like, you can go and look at that. But the reason why I put this here is just to remind you that setting the intentions is just like planting seeds, and God will really nourish those seeds for you. So that way you can see it come to life as well. Mindset book recommendations. These are books that I use to help me build the strategy that I needed. Personally, I am an ADHDer. Okay, I have ADHD. And so when it comes to focusing, it takes a lot of intention and motivation. And reading these books on my commute really helped me move forward the way that I need it to. So the power of habit is great. Some people would recommend Atomic Habits. They teach pretty much the same concepts, but I did like the power of habit. And it helped me understand the science of habits and inspired me to implement and remain disciplined. The power of intention, which I read that before, The Power of Habit, and that really helped me understand the concept of manifestation. And he didn't even call it manifestation necessarily. If you watch my previous video, I really like to reframe it to just goal setting and seeing your intentions come to life. Those simple intentions can really transform our identities and how we view and operate in our environments. Deep work is another great one. This showed me how to learn different concepts in a short amount of time by eliminating digital distractions and setting routines. So now you might be asking, okay, so we're getting into the mindset stuff. What's the rest, right? So this is my passing the SLP praxis method explained. This is exactly the strategy that I use to get my score to jump 13 points, and the same strategy that I use to help my previous clients reach that goal of passing the exam above a 162 score. So first you start with mindsets, and we'll talk a little bit about why. Second, you'll take the practice exam. I really recommend taking the practice exam because, first of all, it's great when you are confident and you understand, okay, this is what I need. This is the flow of taking the exam. And this is what's going to tell me what I need to work on moving forward. So after taking the exam, ETS will give you a score. And that's where you can create your study plan and work backwards. So let's just say that you have challenges in treatment planning and implementation. It's one of the content areas. You know that with each and every subject area, that's what you need to really focus on. Key term sheets. After you create the study plan, you should also take practice quizzes and put anything that you notice that you were a little rocky on, that you really didn't have a lot of clear understanding on, put that into the key term sheet, and you're essentially creating your own study guide. Study and review according to your learning style. So be very authentic with yourself. If you know that you are more of a visual person and it's hard for you to listen to lectures, you really need to have like a PowerPoint or something like that. Make sure that that's your jam. And also really utilize those charts and graphs in your study books. I highly recommend the Advanced Review Praxis book. They have really great charts. They just updated it to edition 5 at the time of this recording. So really make sure that you're choosing resources that benefit you. The first step is mindset mastery. And today for this mini course, we can think of this like a mindset workshop because I'm going to invite you to pause the video and reflect and journal on where you currently are and where you want to go. Passing the SLP Praxis exam requires a mastered mindset. Before we can master our mindset, we must understand how our mind works to create the achievable outcomes that we desire. 95% of our thoughts, behaviors, actions, and beliefs are dictated by our subconscious mind. And this is why many people stop believing in manifestation or the law of attraction, because we're not doing what's necessary on the subconscious level to move forward and to attract what we're really desiring in our life. It's not enough to journal the intentions or put them on a vision board. You also have to truly believe it yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So this is where Neurolinguistic programming, NLP, comes in, and this is where I'm teaching you what NLP is. I can't get into any more of the nitty-gritty of mindset techniques until I teach you the foundations of and the science of even how it works. The logical levels of change was theorized by Robert Dilts in 1990, and he described it as the mental map that we are working from. It's pretty much our compass, and it's what guides us. The logical levels of the mind based on neurolinguistic programming includes your environment, behaviors, capabilities, your values and beliefs, your identity, and your purpose. So you notice how purpose is at the very top. Understanding and addressing these levels can facilitate personal development and effective communication. In context of preparing for the SLP Praxis exam, logical levels of the mind involve different aspects of cognition and behavior. So these levels can include your exam environment, your study behaviors, cognitive capabilities, beliefs in one's abilities, beliefs in your own, right? The identity as a competent test taker that you are, and a positive mindset linked to achieving success on the exam. So we're going to take a little bit of time to break these logical levels down, starting with your environment. That's your relationships, like people, the people who are around you, and your external study surroundings, your behavior, your study habits and actions, your capability, your skills, resourcefulness, and abilities in mastering speech concepts, and sticking to a strategy and behaviors. That is, I will say, especially when I was going through this process, I just did not think I was capable of even following a study plan. I just did not. So that is why it is important to keep that goal in mind. So that way, and to use the techniques that I teach, that I'll be teaching today and that I teach in my practice coaching programs. So that way you can really hone in on the capabilities part. Also the beliefs and values, your convictions about your abilities and the praxis. Identity, How you see yourself as an SLP praxis prepper, and your purpose, your why, and understanding the power of your intentions. So let's just take, for example, Anne-Marie Piso. She was one of my first clients. She ended up getting a score of 178 after working with me. And this was someone who struggled to pass the exam. She said that she stayed in graduate school when it came time to take the test and she just could not pass. And she had a government job, so it was very important for her to pass so that way she wouldn't lose the benefits associated with that government job. And Anne Marie was focused on memorizing rather than understanding the techniques and strategies. So when we go through school and academia, many of us just focus on memorizing it. And how many of us memorize what we need right before the exam, and then it leaves our minds like the next day, right? So that doesn't work for the actual praxis exam. You cannot do that because they throw curveballs at you to make sure that you're not just memorizing it. They want to make sure that you truly understand the concepts. Anne Marie worked full time as a CF, but she did double down on her study time and we are working together. She was very motivated and she hired me, took my advice regarding her mindset strategies and study strategies. And she trusted me to be her biggest cheerleader. And of course, she passed. She got a 178. Here is some action steps. Reflect on your current levels. Starting with environment. Describe your current study environment. Where do you typically study? What's in the environment? Is it a little bit cluttered? Do you need to declutter? Are there pictures or quotes or something that inspires you? Do you have a nice, pretty candle and a pretty plant that helps you feel grounded? Describe your current relationships. Do you have a strong accountability system? Do your friends and partners energize you and drain you? And how can you set boundaries to ensure your energy is directed towards yourself and your personal, academic, and professional development? This is the time to be selfish. Who is supportive enough to help carry the weight of some responsibilities to give you the mental energy that you need to focus? Fits. What are your current habits? What time of day do you typically study? Who do you study with? How do you reward yourself? How do you prioritize studying? Are you more of a wing it or go with the flow type? If you're a wing it and go with the flow type, I would not recommend that right now in this season. I'm letting y'all know I am definitely a go with the flow type. I love going with the flow. It's so much, it feels less stressful just to vibe, right? But unfortunately, and really actually fortunately, because I do think that there's a lot of value in having discipline and setting out small action steps to achieve a bigger vision. I do believe that. So really evaluate your habits here. Capabilities. What skills and internal resources do you currently have or use to study for your exams? How would you describe yourself? And just to backtrack, when I say internal resources, I mean, do you consider yourself motivated? We haven't gotten to identity yet, but the ones that you really just already know that you have, your internal resources, knowing that you're motivated, knowing that you're someone who, even something like being a great reader, or someone who's able to understand difficult concepts quickly, or someone who really knows how to find what they need. That's probably how you found this video, because you're someone who's resourceful. You know how to find what you need to get the job done. How do loved ones and mentors describe you? Are you tenacious? Are you driven? Are you organized? Are you uplifting? Because a lot of times our uplifters out here who are empaths and everyone else's biggest cheerleaders, this is the time to really start pouring into yourself here, because the SLP Praxis exam is another step in life that you probably have never taken the Praxis exam before, or maybe you have. But even if you had, this is definitely the time to be uplifting. Are you a planner? Are you an executor? This is the time to write all these things down. And also cheer yourself on during this time. Think of this workshop as like a little party with yourself or a little retreat. So you can turn on your favorite vibe music or whatever and just really reflect on who you are in your being and what you can do to really move the needle forward in your life and in your career. Moving forward, beliefs and values. Describe your current beliefs and values. What core values do you have, and how can they help you pass the SLP Praxis exam? You might need to go on Google, honestly, and look up core values and then see which ones that you really resonate. But also, I really just challenge you to just write down what really comes to mind. Try not to spend more than 3 minutes on each of these, just to give you, just because whatever comes out immediately is probably what is. If you are having a little bit of trouble, ask a loved one, except for when we get to identity, because that should really come from you. So, do you really trust and believe that you're capable of passing the SLP Praxis exam? Do you value hard work and discipline? Because if you're someone who doesn't value hard work and discipline, what can you do to make this part of your value system? If you don't want to value hard work and discipline, which I highly doubt if you're watching this video, but if that's something that you're not really into, honestly, congratulations. I'm impressed that you've made it this far to graduation. Identity. Moving on from that, identity. How would you describe yourself? How would you answer the question, "So tell me about yourself. Who are you?" Write that down. And then my favorite, your purpose. What is your why? Why did you join the profession? What inspires you to keep going? What lights you up? And what is your big picture? So you can pause this video and just take a few moments to write these things down. And when you come back, welcome back. So, all right, phase two. This is when we're getting into the 5-step manifestation process. All of the pieces of the puzzle that I like to say, because when we do this foundational work on our mindset and just understanding what's going on in our reality and also what we desire to create for ourselves, this is when we can set the goal into the future and look ahead. So, what the 5-step manifestation process is really, it really digs down into what we can do and be and have to make our success inevitable. Just as a disclaimer, I did get this from Reese from Yes Apply. She is my coach, and this is the coaching certification program. If you're interested in being a certified mindset coach, also, I definitely recommend checking out her resources here. I did include a link for you. So, the 5-step manifestation process, and you might recognize that the acronym is YES. So, your envisioned success, your empowered self, your identity, your essential skills or your habits, your exoneration of old self, which is the release phase, letting go what's no longer serving you, and your expectant state, which is the energetic state, staying in the state of expectance, of receiving, of this goal is already mine. Just to break this down, so your envisioned success is the goal setting and visualization phase. This is the part that's probably the most fun because you get to daydream a little bit. Empowered self is the identity. So the version of you who makes your success inevitable. And this might mean that you might have to believe some things about yourself that you might not necessarily be acting as if yet. Okay, so let's just say, for example, you do chronically procrastinate. Would a chronic procrastinator inevitably pass the SLP Praxis exam with a score above a 162? Maybe. Anything's possible. But do you want to take that risk? So, what version of you knows that this success is inevitable? What are you doing every day? This is when we get to the habits. Your habits, your routines, your rituals, your skills, getting clear on what daily actions will make your success inevitable and sticking to them. So in the SLP, passing the SLP Praxis exam program, I do actually sit with you and go through your daily schedule. And it's amazing how powerful just writing down what you want your daily schedule to look like or your ideal day to look like can really make the biggest transformation for you because you're doing the habits that make your success inevitable, right? So take some time to do that, getting clear on your daily actions. Morning routines and night routines are very important in this process, not only for self-care and mental health, but also just overall motivating yourself. Exoneration of old self. This is the release state. Releasing limiting beliefs that are not serving you and that are keeping you from the new version of yourself that you are calling in, i.e., a certified SLP. So if you are someone who actually identifies as being an anxious personality type, and trust me, no judgment here. I just know I've had clients that are like, "Oh, I'm just an anxious personality type." And will that identity or claiming that identity serve you in this next stage of life? Do you want to be an anxious personality type in the clinical setting with a caseload of 60 plus, right? So if the answer is no, believe that you are capable of releasing that identity. That does not have to be your end all be all for the rest of your life. You can truly change and empower yourself to be the highest version of yourself possible, right? Maybe you just don't think that you're worthy of these things. You might think, oh my gosh, I'm worthless, or some other things I've heard. I'm just so dumb. I'm just so stupid. And that's why it's also necessary to refrain from saying these things about ourselves, because that's what you're projecting into the universe. And then that's exactly what you're going to get back. You're going to get situations that make you feel dumb. So these are things also in the Passing the SLP Praxis program that we really work on releasing actively through the techniques that we talked about, the EFT, the hypnosis, the neuroenergetic encoding. These are all things that we do. And go ahead and check out my YouTube and Instagram page for EFT tapping techniques. I release them once a week. So if you just want to get started on that, please, by all means, go ahead. Expected state. Now, the reason why this is the last phase of the manifestation process is because a lot of times that expected state is harder to get to if we aren't doing the why, the identity, the habits, and the release, right? So I guarantee you, by following this blueprint, rinsing and repeating on a day-to-day basis, you will start to own it and you will just start to expect it. And that's exactly what happened to me when I was taking the SLP Praxis exam for the second time. And when I did start embodying the person who gets up every day and who puts the study times on my calendar and who puts my phone on do not disturb and sets a timer and honored that timer and got up and stretched and cuddled with my dog and then got back to my desk to do it all again. And I also just simply ignored those limiting beliefs that came up, or if they came up, because I'm human, I honestly just pushed through and trusted that it was really just my ego. And also I practiced, taking that practice test while using all of these techniques allowed me to feel strong and confident in taking the SLP Praxis exam. When it was time for me to actually take the exam again, it was like it was nothing. It was like I'd been there before. And it wasn't because I actually had been there before, but it's because I really did just keep practicing and practicing to where my nervous system wasn't even anxious. My nervous system felt really relaxed during the whole process. So I just want to tell you a quick story about London. So London got passing score of 165. London is one of my Spanish bilingual clients, and she invested in my services due to the nerves and the desire to pass the exam the first time. So we started our first session with envisioning her success, and not just on the SLP Praxis exam, but also envisioning herself as a private practice owner that served Latin families. And we made sure that she even visualized what her private practice clinic would look like. And it was amazing. We used mindset tracks like EFT and hypnosis, and she incorporated it into her routine. And she was also open to the process. We used neuroenergetic encoding during our sessions to release perfectionism and anxiety that kept her from feeling satisfied with her progress and keeping her in a state of discomfort. I took her through a hypnosis of imagining her life as a private practice owner, just like what I said. Then we took the quiz. And although she wasn't a fan of dysphagia, just for example, but specifically on this session, she was not a fan of dysphagia. Her quiz score went from a 50 to a 75% in one session, just because we did that hypnosis track for her. And so she was able to trust her intuition a bit more and just expect that things were moving the right way. We did do EFT the week before her exam to release anxiety from her personal life and shame from not having to study. There were some things happening in her personal life, and she wasn't able to really just focus on her studies because of it. And so she had a lot of shame and grief from that. But we did some EFT tapping and she took the test, ended up getting a 165, and now she can cross that off of her to-do list before graduation. So here are some action steps. And this is where, after I explain this, you can pause this video. It is time to manifest using information from phase 1. Reflect on the following questions, and you can journal it or record your responses. So some people aren't writers. It might help you to just use your phone or an app on your computer and record yourself saying these manifestations. This could really help you, especially if you're saying this manifesto to yourself and then you go to sleep listening to it, or as you're getting dressed during the day, you can press play and listen to yourself telling you who you are. That's so powerful. So envision success. What would you ask for if you knew the answer would be yes? How would you give back? And how is it for the highest good that you achieve that? Ensure it can be experienced in the mind, seeing it, hearing it, feeling it. So let's just say, for example, Bruce Lee's manifesto. He said, I, Bruce Lee, will be the first highest paid Oriental superstar in the United States. In return, I will give the most exciting performances and render the best of quality in the capacity of an actor. Starting 1970, I will achieve world fame, and from then onward till the end of 1980, I will have in my possession $10 million. I will live the way I please and achieve inner harmony and happiness. And if anyone is familiar with Bruce Lee and his movies, you can know and trust that he did just that. So we're going to create something similar. Now, I do have here some aspects of human design. You might not be familiar with human design. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, but you can get that with the SLP Praxis programs. If you are a specific manifester, meaning that when you are envisioning your future and you're a bit more specific with it. So for example, you can say, it is now June 25th, 2024. And I am so happy and grateful that I now have a 170 score on the SLP Praxis exam. I see myself pressing the submit button and seeing the 178 on the screen, or 170. I hear myself having a sigh of relief that it's all done. And I'm feeling absolutely amazing and excited to leave the testing center and tell my family. I achieved this because I am strong, I am courageous, and because I did exactly what I meant to do. I got up, I studied every day, fill in the blank. This is where you can fill in your habits and your identity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude is the best energy to tap into when bringing these into fruition. Or you might be a non-specific manifester. Maybe the tiny details might stress you out. So you can say, it is now summer 2024, or sooner and better. I like to say sooner and better because the mantra with non-specific manifester, it's really this or something better. So you really can generalize it, and then God can give you something even better. This really gives room for the process. So you can say it is now summer 2024, or sooner or better. And I am so happy and grateful that I now have a passing score on the SLP Praxis exam. Things that I feel in my surrounding are people in my testing center, leaving the testing center and seeing my loved ones coming to pick me up, going to dinner to celebrate. Things like this, you can say whatever really resonates with you. And I just feel absolutely so happy and so excited and so fulfilled that this is my reality. And I achieve this while honoring my highest potential because I am, put your personal resources, because I am tenacious, because I am driven, because I am hopeful. all of those resources that's really helped you get to that point. You see, I'm already speaking because it's already done. So that's really helped you get to that point of passing the SLP Praxis exam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some tips. Manifest according to your human design and learning style. So you can explore more about your human design chart here. Some people really don't manifest with human design, which I completely understand. So you can learn more about the specific versus non-specific manifestor types. But what I really recommend is to use your learning style to set the intention. So, for example, visual learners benefit from post-it notes and vision boards. Auditory learners benefit from reading their intentions out loud or recording their intentions and listening to them daily. Kinesthetic learners benefit from writing their intentions daily. So these are just some tips to really help you with this process. Additional practices. So first of all, of course, you can book a mindset session with me, and these are just things that I do in the program. You can book a creating an achievable outcome setting session, a neural energetic encoding session, putting the goal into the future, anchoring to feel, see, and hear the goal achieved. Hypnosis is another great practice to do. Some things to program out. That goal is too big, or it's too good, or it's unattainable, or it's too hard to achieve. Maybe you haven't seen anybody in your family or friend group achieve a goal like this one. Programming out beliefs that you're just not able to get the clarity that you need, that it's hopeless. Programming out that setting goals based on shoulds or what works rather than genuine wants. You see this a lot, for example, with people who are setting money goals, just for example, and even, even maybe to set a money goal to join this program. And if your genuine want is to join the SLP Praxis program, set that goal and believe that you have the resources to achieve that goal, whatever that is meant to look like for you. But just saying, oh, well, I just don't have the money right now, or I just don't believe that that's possible for me. I know in my heart of hearts, I really want to join this program, but I just can't do it. And maybe I should just try to study myself or watch like YouTube videos. Which really no shame to that. But if your genuine want and desire is to achieve something or to join a program or whatever the case may be, then believe that you are worth it. Believe that you're worth it, that you're able to achieve whatever you desire. And even me saying this, I'm talking to myself too here. We are all human, and it is hard to believe that, because as soon as you achieve that one goal, more goals open and become possible for you to achieve. And this definitely resonates with me too. You are not alone in this. All right. Next is your empowered self. Who is the version of you who easily and effortlessly attracts and manifests this goal? How do you show up in the world? What are some characteristics that describe you? What characteristics are no longer serving you? And what must you let go of now to fully embody the truest version of you? So definitely, if you need to pause this video and write this out or record it, I highly recommend it. Even if it seems redundant from the logical levels of change journaling prompts that we did, it's great to keep writing it down, so that way you're programming that memory into your subconscious. Really, you're letting God know, this is what I desire. It's just like saying a prayer. Okay. What must you let go of now to fully embody the truest version of you? If you are someone who likes to pray, you can definitely ask God for guidance and help. So, for example, what must you let go of now to fully embody the truest version of you? God, please remove everything in my life that is not serving you, or that's not serving me, and that isn't helping me be the truest and best version of me to be able to accomplish this goal. That is a great prayer. Okay. So let's just take this case study. Meet Ari. She goes by Ari B Speech on Instagram. You might be familiar with Ari. She received a passing score of 166. She was nervous about taking the Praxis exam and the comprehensive. She was definitely very nervous about taking the comprehensive. She had test taking anxiety, and she was unconfident in her competence of the material. We worked in a group setting and also in one-on-one for 5 months, and she did take my advice. We talked about the environment, and she decluttered her environment and made it fun for her. She started creating content from it and everything. She also romanticized her life and studied in cafes that made her feel abundant and wealthy. She's living in Los Angeles, so she would go over to Beverly Hills to get her study work done, which also brings her closer to her other life goals as well. She honed in on her organizational skills. So that was one of those inner resources that she has that she denies it. But I'm just like, girl, you really are like amazing with your time management and organization. But she had to hone in on it because, as you all know, life is constantly evolving, and taking the SLP Praxis exam is just another sign of life's evolutions. And so she had to adjust some of her habits. She also teamed up with her accountability partners, one that she made through the Praxis coaching program and someone else that she had in her graduate program. We did do EFT to help her with anxiety. We did do hypnosis as well. And she ended up passing the SLP Praxis the first time with the 166. And months before that, she passed the comprehensive, both her written and writing comprehensive exams. So, just some affirmations that you can program in, making them your own. Affirming, I am the identity of the person who attracts and manifests my goal with ease. I feel worthy and abundant to have this. So for you, I feel worthy and abundant to have a passing score and to be living in my dream career as a speech pathologist. My SLP Praxis passing score is already mine. It is important that someone like me is a Praxis prepper and can pass the SLP Praxis exam, so that way I can serve marginalized communities in our profession. And I am so worthy and so excited that I already have this. So this is where I do recommend that you can hire me or another practitioner who does these strategies to really help program this in. If you are someone who saying these things, the self-doubt starts clicking in, that is your telltale sign. Okay. You can even go on YouTube to find some hypnosis tracks to release perfectionism. This is definitely something that is a game changer. Program out thinking that you are not the personality or identity of someone who gets to have this. So people who are like, oh, I'm just an anxious personality type, releasing that. Thinking, oh, I'm just bad at tests, releasing that. Thinking, oh, I'm just not good enough, releasing that. I don't care what you picked up from your graduate programs or academic career, you can release that now. Now is the time. You get to release that before you step into the field. Congratulations. Releasing other limiting beliefs and stories like, oh, I mean, my family hasn't had that before. I've never seen this done. How am I worthy of this if my brother or my sister didn't get to have this opportunity? Almost like the survivor's guilt or, whatever you want to call it. Release that now. You are still very worthy and deserving of this. Releasing those internal conflicts as well. So, we talk about parts work integration in the program, but a part of you might really value the procrastination while another part of you is like, girl, let's do this, or let's get this done, right? So that's when you really have to figure out what each part of you wants, which at the end of the day, the part of you wants inner peace, right? So releasing those conflicts, and also programming out you don't have the potential to do it or that you need to limit yourself and play small. Essential skills. What habits, behaviors, and routines would make your success inevitable? What habits, behaviors, and routines must you let go of to make your success inevitable? You can affirm, I have a daily or weekly or monthly schedule that I love and that makes my success inevitable. I have habits that I do with ease that make my success inevitable. It's just who I am. The things I do regularly add up to make me amazing at what I do. I love learning more on fill in the blank. So you can say, I love learning more on praxis concepts, right? Think about those praxis concepts that you really are avoiding. Like a lot of people, it's neurolinguistic. Another side might be the childhood development, right? I love learning more on the anatomy of speech and language mechanisms. I just love it. And just affirming that. Because a part of you really does love to learn it, which is why you took the time to be in a graduate program for speech pathology. And I embody what I learn and take inspired action from the inside out. Limiting beliefs to program out, not moving forward or taking action. Staying in old habits instead of new and expansive ones, like sleeping in. Definitely create new and expansive ones that help remind you that you're doing a great job. Programming out fear of trying and doing new things. So just like with my backstory, having to change my habits. What I was doing before wasn't working and it didn't work. Just other habits that take your time and energy, like binge watching TV. Okay, y'all, Love is Blind and The Bachelorette will be there. It just will. I hate to break it to you. It will be there. This is the time to enter into the profession that will get you what you want and that will help you reach other goals that you might have in your life. So here are some tips to creating your dream schedule. Y'all might be mad at me talking about The Bachelor, but I'm just saying. Tips to creating your dream schedule. Prioritize your spirituality. That is the bottom line. So even if you consider yourself non-religious, there's definitely a higher self involved. So prayer, meditation, journaling, fasting. I don't have this on here, but fasting really changes the game. Reading spiritual texts, listening to spiritual podcasts. I do incorporate spirituality into my podcast, so you can go back and listen to that. Incorporate a self-care practice to prevent burnout and support your mental health. Your morning, midday, and nighttime routines are very important. Like I said, it may be good to fast from draining foods and Netflix, and definitely document the foods that drain you and document the foods that uplift you and help you feel motivated and energized throughout the day. Get active, incorporate fitness in your daily routine or study breaks, even if it's just a light stretch. Make that a habit. And then also just consider a diet that uplifts you. So I'm not telling you to do like the South Beach diet or, I'm not telling you to starve yourself or anything like that, but I am telling you to support your goals by supporting your body, incorporating this into your schedule. Some other practices and rituals, creating a schedule that helps make your success inevitable, repeating the affirmations, doing EFT to help get out of your own way and take action, and neuroenergetic encoding to release emotions and limiting beliefs. Exoneration of old self. When we get to the exoneration of old self phase of the manifestation process, we really want to think about what we no longer feel, believe, or stories about ourselves that allow us to feel lighter and rise up to this place of not only passing the SLP Praxis exam, but also your big career dream. So what do you no longer feel, believe? What stories are you ready to release? So just a tip, releasing negative beliefs and emotions frees us up energetically to attract what we desire. Releasing those negative, low vibrational. Now, I will say, you know what, let me just backtrack because I use the word negative here, but really emotions are meant to serve us. The thing with emotions, though, is that we got to let them pass through. We can't hold on to these emotions. So a lot of times we do have to do some extra work to release shame or to release fear or to release anger or to build our inner power and self-confidence. Sometimes it takes a little bit more work through EFT and through hypnosis and all of those things. And I am a living, breathing testament of that, okay? Because a lot of our beliefs are coming from childhood that we've been carrying for so many years. A lot of us past our 20s, right? So that's also when it's necessary to be very gentle with yourself in this process. I didn't put that here. I did say self-love and self-passion. And that's one of them, being very gentle with yourself in this process because you are basically choosing a different identity for yourself. And your ego will definitely try to keep you stuck because it can feel scary to be and operate in a whole different way than you have ever before. But I'm telling you, you are worth it and it is worth it. What's on the other side is definitely worth it. Practicing forgiveness goes a long way. You'll be amazed at the power of forgiveness, takes you so far, because what it does is it opens up your heart to receiving. So if your heart is still feeling that pain and that grief from betrayal or whatever it is, and if you're still holding a grudge, sometimes it's unconsciously, you might still be holding a grudge. Practicing forgiveness through EFT tapping. I like to use meditation techniques like Ho'oponopono meditations, which I talk about a bit deeper in my Praxis coaching programs. This really helps you release the energy attached to holding grudges against somebody who might have wronged you. And also just remember, just try your best to give other people grace, because the way that they treat you, I'm sure you've heard this, and I know it sounds like a cliche, but just really think about the times that you might have hurt someone's feelings, and it might not have been intentional, but you do what you can with the resources that you have at that time. Maybe some people aren't able to tap into a grace state. So instead of showing you grace, they might have yelled at you or something that really hurt your feelings and called you names because they themselves didn't have that resource to look at the bigger picture. So just really give yourself grace and give that other person or maybe situation grace. And this is just a great way to take your power back. That's just a little tidbit on forgiveness. It just tells God, the universe, that you are ready to receive a lot more. And trust me, by practicing forgiveness, forgiveness will be given back to you in return for whatever situations that you might not even be aware of. Self-love and compassion goes a long way during this process. Definitely make sure that you are hydrating a lot during this process, because a lot of us might be releasing things, like I keep saying, from childhood or generational trauma that we weren't even around for, but we were chosen to release it in our lifetimes. So these are things to think about. Program out anything that is coming up for you that you are aware that is standing in your way, and program out anything that has come up as you begin to move forward that you would like to release. So this includes those limiting beliefs, those negative emotions, those identities or internal conflicts that you really want to let go of. No matter how far you come, limiting beliefs will happen. They come up for me all of the time. Okay, so please show yourself grace, and it is okay. And it's also okay to give yourself time to reflect on the stories that you might have told yourself before and how you want to change that. Some practices: be kind to yourself as feelings show up. Self-compassion goes a long way. Practice positive self-talk, combating limiting beliefs with your affirmations. EFT tapping to program out limiting beliefs and program in positive affirmations and highest intentions. Neural energetic encoding to release those limiting beliefs, decisions, negative emotions, and also getting to the root cause of them. So that way you know what to do moving forward. Like I said before, forgiveness practices. Shaking is very powerful. Look up shaking videos on YouTube. And the way this was explained to me is how animals, they might get like a quick little sense of trauma. You might have seen animals play fight and then it gets a little bit too serious and then they shake off. And this basically tells us to shake as well. Um, Powerful work. It's amazing how quickly it helps. Inner child healing is a lifelong process, but starting as soon as possible will take you far. And breath work. I've released so much with breath work practices. For me, breath work has not always been comfortable just because, I don't like when my lips get dry and I get a little thirsty. But every time I do it, I never regret it. Here's a quick case study on how the release phase was really beneficial. Let's talk about Kaylee. So Kaylee goes by Asian_adoptee_SLP on Instagram if you want to follow their journey moving forward. But Kaylee had a lot of self-doubt and was overwhelmed with other things going on in their life. They had low self-confidence and low self-worth. They started doing EFT tapping and meditation and also journaling exercises. And this helped them feel really calm before and during the exam. And they ended up passing with a high score of 182. So they did reach back out to me and say those techniques really helped me release my anxiety. They said that listening to calming music and just taking the time to release anxiety helped them get that passing score, despite what limiting beliefs were coming up. And they are currently in grad school and graduate in May 2024 at the time of this recording. Last but not least, if you are with me at this point, congratulations. Okay, you've made it to the end and you can be proud of yourself for finishing what you started. So, the expectant state, this is the part that is probably the most fun because this is how you know that those dreams are coming into fruition for you. So, think about what is the vibration, energy, and expectation that you hold all day as you know it's already yours. When you wake up in the morning, how do you want to feel? When you go about your day, how do you want to feel? How will you celebrate your practice success? Already put that into fruition for yourself. What emotions and energies must you let go of now in order to be an energetic match for you, what you desire? Affirmations to program in I expect the best case scenario. Everything is working out for me. I am an active participant in my success. I do my part knowing the universe will do its part. Sometimes discipline or resistance is part of the process. I know it's teaching me or showing me something, not telling me to stop. Some things you can do, of course, reframing your mindset. So, just for example, did I run out of time because the people around me were being really annoying and distracting? Or was this just a signal for me to study, to find another place to study that is actually more beneficial for me in the long run? Other reframes like that, just looking at the highest possible scenario and story possible forever, but definitely during this process. Anchoring in expectant feelings, energy work, anchoring is energy work that I teach in my program, and EFT tapping. Programming out, knowing what you want may even know what you need to do, but you are not doing it or moving forward. So maybe you know that you want to create a study plan, but you're not doing it for whatever reason, right? You want to release that. Maybe after saying your affirmations in the mirror, which I do recommend doing it in the mirror, by the way, very powerful. Maybe you're saying these things. And so God is planting those inspired actions your way or those people. Maybe even joining this mini course call is one of those steps and knowing, ooh, you know what? I'm I believe I'm capable of affording things, right? I believe I'm capable of joining programs and finishing what I started. I believe that. And then here I come bringing this to you. And then you might be saying, but not this time, right? So it really takes you just to take that inspired action as it comes. And that's what I'm saying again, knowing what to do, but not taking action. So here are some tips. Don't be hard on yourself if you aren't automatically in expectant state. Like I said, sometimes it takes the whole process, right? Setting your intention, redefining how you want to identify with yourself, redefining your habits, releasing those negative emotions. Yes, sometimes it takes a little bit more work, and that is okay. It's so worth it. Feeling the non expectant energy is part of the process. Because if you notice, oh my gosh, I still feel lack and scarcity. It's so easy to be hard on yourself. Oh my gosh, I've been doing what Melanie told me to do for 30 days and I'm just still feeling that lack and scarcity. It's part of the process. And maybe that just means that there's a bit more work to do. But again, part of the process, worth it. And I guarantee you, you're going to be helping someone else down the road. This is when you must be consistent with release techniques such as EFT tapping and shaking. Again, your goals will continue to grow and to get bigger. It does not stop. So continue to stay consistent with it and it will go a long way. Make it a part of your daily routine. And you are also telling yourself, your subconscious mind, that you are capable of being consistent in your habits. Let's talk about Maria. Maria took the SLP Praxis exam 2 times before working with me. She was really frustrated and ready to take one final push at taking the exam. She's also bilingual and from Ukraine, so there are definitely a lot of emotions coming up because of the war going on in Ukraine. So we did set intentions together and studied content areas that she was weak in. She remained positive, and she also counted on her husband and myself as her coach for support. And she even scheduled a mini vacation after the test. She knew she was going to pass because she was in the expectant state, but not really having necessarily evidence of that yet, right? It wasn't in the physical, but she did still make sure to take her test in Pennsylvania and then planned a little trip somewhere in Pennsylvania after that. And so she did end up passing with a 177, and now she's a certified speech pathologist. And remember London that I mentioned earlier. So just again, visualization meditations helped her imagine herself feeling confident during the exam. So sometimes she'd come back in our sessions and I'd say, hey, have you been doing the techniques that we filmed for you? And she'd say, no, I kind of fell off of it. Okay, no problem, London. Let's do it together. Let's do a visualization meditation. And we did that. And she's like, wow, thank you so much, because that reminded me of why I'm doing this in the first place. And that's why we do have to go back to our why, because it does get hard. Consistent with the process and technique. She was feeling calm during the exam and left the exam feeling successful. And she did practice imagining the best case scenario. And I just emphasize the word practice because it is a practice to imagine the best case scenario, especially if anxiety is like a huge emotion that you're ready to release. So all of that mindset stuff, wow, you just got so much. And keep this, save this for every other goal, big goal that you have in your life. The next steps to a passing score. So we focused a lot on the mindset section. That is so important because, like I said, your subconscious mind rules 95% of your behavior, your values, your beliefs, etc. So now we are on the practice test part, and now we're pretty much on the whole study process part. So if you're ready to pass the SLP Praxis exam this year, here's a broad overview of what you need to do. And remember, I've only covered the main idea to the Passing the SLP Praxis program. If you are ready to book a call with me, I'll show you where, but let's get through this. So the first thing is hold on to your why. Keep your why in mind, hold your boundaries, and choose to believe you are already successful at achieving what you desire to achieve. Take the ETS Praxis exam or 50. I recommend ETS because it's the most comparable to the actual Praxis test. Taking the practice test helps you build confidence, gain familiarity with the test format, and identify your strengths and weaknesses. So here's where you can practice your test taking strategies, figuring out what the question is really asking, time management, going with your gut, etc. If you do choose to use 50, you can get 10% off with the code Praxis Speech Sister. Third, you're going to want to create a study plan. So use data from your practice test and create a study plan accordingly. Prioritize subject and content areas that you had the most challenges with. Identify when you plan to take the SLP Praxis exam and reverse engineer your study time. Be realistic and give yourself enough time to thoroughly review study material and to take the practice test at least 2 times. Utilize practice quizzes. Practice quizzes help you get specific on your strengths and weaknesses according to each subject area. I recommend using Advanced Review by Roseberry McKibben and taking a practice quiz before starting to review each content area. Not only will this save you time, but you can also practice your test taking strategies in this stage. Fifth, create a key term sheet. So remember, your key term sheet is like your personal study guide. It's essential. When you come across terms and concepts on your practice quizzes, you can document them on your key term sheet to help guide you. This really helped me, and it helps my clients time and time again. Highly recommend. Six, study according to your learning style. So when you're studying, you are essentially relearning and reviewing the content. Don't get bogged down with all of the study materials from your graduate courses. I recommend finding 1 to 3 study materials per subject area to help move the needle forward. So for example, when you're studying motor speech disorders, you can study with the book, the Advanced Review book, the medical SLP study guides, because they have very beautiful, colorful charts, and then also using YouTube. Okay, so definitely recommend that. And repeat. Just repeat the process for each and every chapter. And This is exactly what I do with my Passing to SLP Praxis clients to help them achieve a passing score. So, congratulations, everyone. You did make it until the end. If this course helped you, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. You can DM me on Instagram, Praxis Speech Sister. And if you want to learn more about the Passing to SLP Praxis exams, you can apply for your free discovery call using that link. So, thank you all so much. I am so thankful that you took the time out of your day to watch this video, and I'm so excited for you in the days, in the weeks, months, and years to come. All right, I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, fam.